So Doctor Doom has officially arrived in the MCU, and based on the newest Avengers Doomsday trailer, this dude is genuinely unstoppable. We went from Thor's hammer smashing through Thanos' gauntlet to him fully charging his ult up just to get shushed up with 2 fingers. Like, this version of Doom looks like he is about to become one of the most dangerous characters the MCU has ever introduced. So today I'm throwing a couple random heroes who are currently expected to appear or actually do appear around this story and determining which of them could actually defeat Doctor Doom. So the tiers are pretty self-explanatory. At the top we have belt to butt, which is aka belt to ass, get some hits in, which means they get some hits in, and basically GG's, which means there is absolutely no hope for them. They are getting easily beat. And you're probably asking, where is the tier that they kill Doctor Doom? And now if I had to take a big guess, I don't think anyone here is going to solo Doom except for 1 or 2 people on this list, so this is kind of just like what would happen if they did have to 1v1. And coming in first we have Bucky Barnes. Now, Bucky has a slightly better chance of physically surprising Doom, but the final result would remain almost exactly the same. Bucky is obviously stronger than an ordinary human. He possesses decades of combat experience and has fought almost every type of opponent imaginable in the MCU. Now, when Bucky is completely focused, he is one of the most efficient fighters in the MCU. His vibranium arm also gives him enough strength power to overpower normal soldiers and briefly contend with enhanced opponents. But the problem is that Bucky's abilities are still limited to relatively grounded combats. Doom's armor should be designed to endure attacks from characters considerably more powerful than Bucky. Victor would also recognize Bucky's arm as his primary weapon and immediately attempt to disable, remove it, or just completely control it in entirety. Now, Bucky could probably contribute to Doom's fates, but I mean, like, I feel like it's kind of just basically GG if he ever went up against him 1v1. Maybe he gets some hits in, but I don't think Doom would let him get close to him at all. Next we have Thor. Now, Thor should have the best chance of defeating Doctor Doom physically. He has survived the force of a star, fought Thanos head-on 1v1, and destroyed enormous armies. If Thor lands a completely unprotected strike with Stormbreaker, Doom could genuinely be killed. But the newest Doomsday trailer appears to establish that Doom is capable of confronting Thor directly. Now, we don't know for sure if that's a 1v1 scene because we haven't really seen the entirety of the scene, but from the looks of it, it kind of looks like a 1v1. Thor attacks Doom with lightning, and Victor basically shrugs it off. Do you know like that one shush meme from A Quiet Place? That's kind of what Doom did to Thor's ult. Now, Thor maybe can beat Doctor Doom, but I would not say he wins consistently, and I do not say that he would win easily. He would probably need to fight to the death if you wanted to beat him in a 1v1. Now, unfortunately, judging by the trailer, I feel like he would only get some hits in because if that's what Doctor Doom is capable of, it might be GG already. And next we have Sam Wilson, the new Captain America. So in Captain America Brave New World, Sam has proved that he could survive encounters with opponents who were dramatically stronger than him. He was able to maneuver around Red Hulk, use his environment, and keep fighting despite being completely outmatched physically. Now that demonstrates Sam's intelligence and courage, but surviving someone is not the same as defeating them. Now Doctor Doom would be a nightmare matchup for Sam because practically everything Sam relies upon is technological. So unfortunately, this is kind of just like basically GG. Next we have Cyclops. I feel like Cyclops is regularly underestimated because people describe his ability as just shooting lasers from his eyes. But his optic blasts are not normal heat-based lasers. They strike with enormous concussive force and have been powerful enough to destroy reinforced structures and send extremely durable opponents flying. Scott also has incredible control over these blasts. Like, he can adjust their width and intensity. Like, it's not like he can't control them and they just shoot out of his eyes whenever he gets mad or something like that. Like, he has really good precision with them, and also they ricochet. So before you know it, you could dodge one and then it can come back to hit you in the back of the head. But however, Cyclops has one massive weakness. His attacks still travel directly from his eyes toward the target. Now, Doom could teleport away or reflect the blast back towards Scott because Cyclops relies on his visor to regulate his powers. And Doom could also attempt to control that or completely disable it, so he really wouldn't have anything to do at all. And And once Doom survives the initial optic blast, even if he gets it off in the first place, Scott becomes much more vulnerable. Now, Cyclops could absolutely injure Doom, with the support from the X-Men and the Avengers. That's really it. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but a long-range fight against Doom kinda sounds like a bad idea at first, especially when you consider all of his magic, but at the same time, how the hell are you supposed to get past that magic in the first place to fight him up close? And since Cyclops is already a pretty formidable long-range opponent, I genuinely think he could get a couple hits off. Next, we have the original Captain America. Now, I don't know who this is, but this is definitely not the Captain America that I remember. Dude, at this point, he's basically turned into Soldier Boy. Like, when he finally sees Doom, it's going to feel like Homelander and a Soldier Boy reunion. Except this time, Doom has V1, or Tony Stark now has V1. Now, Steve Rogers is much more interesting because Steve has repeatedly defeated opponents who should have destroyed him. He went toe-to-toe against Ultron and held his own against Iron Man, and was actually able to put belt to ass against non-gauntlet Thanos with Thor's hammer, but then in the end, obviously, he didn't really win that battle. However, Captain America defeating Doom alone is a complete other story. Steve could potentially damage Doom if he still has access to the hammer in the 1v1, but I kind of doubt that. But without it, Steve is completely outclassed, and as we've seen in the trailer, I don't think that shit would really even work anyways. Now, based on the Captain America we see in the trailer, this might be a bad assumption, but he looks like he's been out of the game for a while. I mean, technically, he has been out of the game for a long time, considering where he went after Endgame, but Prime Captain America could probably get a few hits in because, you know, he's one of the GOATs, but I'm kind of doubting whether this current version of him could do the same. So yeah, he goes in basically GG. Next, we have the Sentry. Now, as we all know, dude, Sentry is completely OP. If Doom entered this fight without preparation, which I kind of doubt that, Sentry could overwhelm him before Victor had enough time to cast a spell or activate one of his weapons. Now, Bob is faster and seemingly almost impossible to injure. One serious attack from Sentry could rip Doom's armor apart and end the fight almost immediately. But Sentry's biggest weakness is not physical, it is Bob himself. His power is connected to his unstable mental state, and Doom is exactly the type of villain who would exploit that. Victor would quickly realize that he does not need to overpower Sentry. He only needs to manipulate Bob, make him doubt himself, or trigger the Void. And once the Void comes out, the fight becomes less about Doom defeating Sentry and more about literally everybody else surviving what Doom has just unleashed. That could also backfire horribly. Doom might think he has successfully broken Bob, only for the Void to appear and immediately decide that Latveria does not even need to exist anymore. Sentry is putting a belt to ass against Dr. Doom, and I mean, like, you could probably even kill him. Next, we have Loki. Now, after the ending of Loki Season 2, he kinda damn near is the most powerful character on this list. But the thing is, he is maintaining the branching timelines and holding the multiverse together from the center of literally everything. In shorter terms, Loki is currently responsible for protecting the multiverse. He can't necessarily abandon his position and begin personally fighting victims without risking the destruction of the timelines he is maintaining. Now, Loki possesses enough power to defeat Doom, but killing him would produce consequences across multiple realities. So yeah, Loki could definitely put belt to ass to Dr. Doom. Next, we have Ant-Man. Scott Lang is obviously not stronger than Doom under normal circumstances, but the Pym particles allow him to ignore the normal rules of a fight. He can become nearly invisible by shrinking, grow into Giant Man, and access the quantum realm. His suit also gives him several potential methods of attacking Doom without confronting him directly. And yes, everybody already knows the other method people suggested for defeating Thanos, but we are not doing that again. The problem is that Doom is exactly the type of person who would prepare for someone like Ant-Man. Doom could generate a force field that prevents Scott from entering or possibly interfere with Scott's size-changing technology. The quantum realm might also become an advantage for Doom rather than Scott, because Doom could potentially capture Scott and use the Pym technology to further his own multiversal plans. Now, I would say Ant-Man has a better chance than Sam or Bucky because his powers create these unpredictable possibilities. Of course, he doesn't really get that close to beating Doom at all. Now, there was actually a time when Ant-Man put belt to ass on Doctor Doom in the Fantastic Four Volume 2 issue 16. He didn't kill him, but he completely tore him apart both physically and mentally after Doom killed his daughter, Cassie. Obviously, none of that actually carries over to the MCU version of Ant-Man. If anything, he's kind of heavily nerfed, but when you consider both his Ant-Man and Giant Man abilities, I still think he could possibly get a few hits in. And last but not least, we have Daredevil himself. Now, some people might argue that Daredevil has no chance here, but those people clearly have never seen Matt Murdock enter a hallway. Now, I will admit, Daredevil inside an open street is a, highly skilled street level hero. But Daredevil in a hallway is not the same Daredevil we normally see. The second that door closes, Matt Murdock becomes multiversal. Doctor Doom could have the Infinity Stones, the 10 rings, and an entire army of Doombots, but it still wouldn't matter, because Matt would hear Doom's heartbeat through the armor and immediately know he's nervous once he enters that hallway. So Thor might be strong enough to overpower Doom, and Loki could probably trap him somewhere outside of time, but Daredevil is the only person who could actually kill him. Not because, he's stronger, smarter, or more powerful, but Doom's fatal mistake would be standing at the other end of that hallway. So we have to make another tier. The man to do it all. Daredevil. But no, on a serious note, if I was being real, it would basically be GG for Daredevil. But yeah. And yeah, let me know what you guys think about this completely odd and wacky list in the comments down below. And also, PS, don't really take too much of what I said in this video seriously. This is kind of just like one big, kind of funny video.